Okay, yeah, great. So let us start. Okay, now let us start. So a non-member method generate number plate that receives the name of the province has been provided. Study it carefully and utilize it appropriately in your solution. So this is tutorial 2A, aka light, where we are going to see or make use of a combo box, which is this drop down there, and a list box. And some of the other components, they are common: button, labels, and a panel. So number one, for the button generate, we must write a code that will extract the name of the province from CMB province combo box. So this is the name of our combo box. Using the method provided, which is generate number plate, generate a number plate and add the generated number plate to list number plates list box. So when we press this button, we are supposed to get the province selected from this combo box, and then after that we are supposed to generate a number plate for that particular province. So this is the output if we selected Mpumalanga, and then when we generate, we should generate a number plate exactly as how the number plates of Mpumalanga are, which is 3 letters, 3 numbers, and the MP for the province. Great. So number one, if we look at our instructions there, is to extract the name of the province from the combo box. Now, I'm not sure if you were taught a combo box in some of the online sessions you might have had with other lecturers, but just a quick one. A combo box is a combination of a list box as well as a T-edit. That is why it is referred to as a combo, because it acts like a T-edit and also like a list box. Now, by saying that, I mean if we go to our combo box, we can see that it will have the property text. The property text, which is the same property used by a T-edit. Again, if we go up, we will see that it can use a property called items, which is the same property used by a list box there. So that is why it is called a combo box. It is actually a combination of a T-edit and a list box. So without wasting any further time, we are going to now get a selected province from the combo box. Now, what we will do here is, you will remember, even when we are dealing with a list box, we need to first determine the item index, the index selected. So we will have int index is equals to combo province, which is the name of my combo box, and then we say item index. This will return the index of the province selected, and then with that index we can go further and extract the name or the string at that index. So I'm going to say province, it is equals to combo province items. As we have seen, it works with the items property, and then the strings, and then we now say the strings at index ix. At this point, I hope everyone is already familiar with this notation here of getting something from a component which holds a list. I hope everyone is familiar with this. So this will be the list box style of retrieving from a combo box. List box style.
Can you just repeat what you just said again? like from the for finding the index, item index.
Okay. Let me show you this real quickly, and then I can explain with that picture in your mind. So let's. What's the error say? Unable to perform link because I'm using RX. Damn it. Okay. Okay. Anyway, let's do this. I'm going to go to the strings, and then there are nothing. Where am I adding? Somewhere I am adding those fields. Okay. So via code here, via code, I was adding provinces, but first I was adding them to a T-string list, and then later on I added them to my combo box. Now this string, the first string, which is Limpopo, is actually on index 0, this one on index 1, this one on index 2. This index which I am referring to, we get them using the property item index, which is this one. So if we say item index, we are actually saying the index of the item which is selected on this control, a combo box. The index of an item refers to that string inside. The index of an item selected from this combo box. Does it make any sense? And then now is going to retrieve either 0 or 1 or 2, depending on whatever province name we selected on. So if we selected on Limpopo, this will return 0. Therefore, we have 0 inside our IX. Now we are saying with that 0, we want to retrieve the actual province name, which is Limpopo. So what we are going to do is we are going to say, on this combo box, we want the items. On these items, we want a string on this index, of which we said it is 0 if we selected Limpopo. Now it's going to say, okay, go to the combo box, go to the items, and fetch the string sitting on index 0. Then this will give me Limpopo or Northwest or Mpumalanga, depending on what I have chosen. Now, I said this is the approach which we use even when we are dealing with a list box, the list box style of retrieval. Now, because in my definition of a combo box, I said a combo box is actually a T-edit and a list box combined. Therefore, it means even when we want to retrieve the text selected from a combo box, we can actually say ANSI string province is equals to combo province dot text, because this is how we would extract something from a T-edit. So now a combo box, as it is a combination of a T-edit and a list box, we can also get something from a combo box using the text property. Is that okay with everyone? Any questions? The lady who said I should repeat, are you sorted with the explanation?
Yes, and another thing, like the first statement is the same as the second statement of retrieving the province.
Yes, these two, they will do the same thing. You just have to pick which one you want to use.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So with these two statements, we are actually proving that a combo box can be a list, and at the same time, it can be a T-edit. So please give me just 1 minute so that I can switch to this side because it's unable to perform link. So open project, documents, Embarcadero Studio project. I think it's tutorial. 27 should be this one, tutorial 2 light, and then yeah, so that we can be able to debug it. Great, so let's just debug that. On my side. Okay. All right, so it's able to execute. So let's quickly go and test the two statements if they will give us the same result. So let's test the first one where we are using the T-edit style of retrieval. So I'm going to go and choose Mpumalanga and then press generate. So as we can see, we are able to get the Mpumalanga via the text property. So the text property, how it works is it just looks at the text which is displayed there. Okay, now let's also test the one that uses a list box style, and then there, same thing, né? So you just have to choose between the two lines. So anyway, let's go on. So from there we are supposed to this thing of zooming. So
So the first statement is applicable to a list box, and the second one is applicable to a text editor.
Yes, this is applicable to anything that works with a list. So it's a list box, it's a combo box, it's a rich edit. And then the second one, this one applies to a T edit as well as a combo box. So maybe if you are writing it down somewhere, maybe you want to cram this or something, I don't know. But yes, this approach or this style will work with any component that can hold a list or that can work with items or lines. And those components are list box, combo box, and the one that we are still going to cover, rich edit. And then the second one, the text property works with a T-edit and a combo box, only these two. Okay, so we are done with the first part. Write code to extract the name of the province from this combo box. And then now, using the method provided, generate a number plate and add it to a list box. Great, so remember we are supplied this method here, generate number plate, which must receive the province as an argument. So we have to call that method in here. So I'm going to say generate number plate. I'm not sure if I'm writing it correctly. Copy, paste. Generate number plate, which expects the name of the province. So I'm going to give it prov. Now this method, this function will return an ANSI string. As you can see there at the bottom, return reg. So it means it's going to give me something when it is done executing. Therefore, we have to call it by assigning it to a certain variable. So I'm going to call this registration number or something like that. And then I equate it to this function call because it's going to return something of type ANSI string back to me. Is that fine with everyone? Okay. So now let's go and complete our function. Let's go and complete our function so that it can generate that number plate. So we are going to start. As you can see, I've made some comments for you so that you can have direction on where to go. I've also given you some variables there, maybe if you want to use them. So let's start with generating letters. So according to this screenshot, the letters are supposed to be 3, the digits are supposed to be 3, and then we have to have the
Sir,
province for. Hello.
it's like I'm confused here, or maybe I can't see in a good way. I've seen something like, can you please go to your code? Why is this ANSI string in a form of a function?
Because we want you to perform a certain task in that function, so that this function can only just give us the result.
So, which means we're able to use an ANSI string in a form of a function.
Not use ANSI string in a form of a function, but we create a function that can return an ANSI string. This is a function. It's going to return an ANSI string. It's the same as when we have a function that will return an int, or a function that does not return anything, or a function that returns a double. It's just a function that's going to return something, and that something is of type ANSI string.
Oh, I
Yes.
thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Any other questions? Nothing. Okay. So let us start generating letters. Let us start generating letters. So to generate letters, we need to know what we call the ASCII table. I'm not sure if you still remember in 111, or maybe some of you guys were taught this, but there is a close relationship between integers and characters. By that I mean, on your keyboard, each letter or each character on your keyboard has an integer equivalent representation. For example, the letter A has an integer value that represents it. The letter exclamation mark or the character exclamation mark has an integer value that it represents. Were you aware of that information?
No.
Okay, so here's what
Yes,
happens.
sir.
Okay, for those who were aware, good. And for those who were not aware, now it's time for us to be aware. Here's what happens. We have what we call an ASCII table. An ASCII table lists all the characters or any button on the keyboard, and it gives a integer representation of that character. For example, let's start from here. When we press a space bar, it has an equivalent value that the computer knows as 32. We are working with decimals, remember. The hexa is not part of this. Let's focus on the decimal part. When we press the space key, we get an equivalent integer value of 32. When we press an exclamation mark, the value is 33. And to prove that, you can always come in here and do a show message and say print. I have to assign. Let's see if I can do this, and then I can do that. I'll explain what I'm doing in a moment. I just want to see if we are going to get the 33. Press, and then look at that. Do you see the value that we get? We get 33, which is also represented here in the ASCII table. For an exclamation mark character, its value is 33 if we display it as an integer. If we display the double quotes as an integer, we are going to get 34. If we take 34 as an int, and then we say we want to display it as a character, we should get double quotes. So let's go back and test that one out as well. So now let's say we want to print 33, but we want to print it as what? As a character. Then we should be able to get an exclamation mark there. There it is. Do you now see what's happening there? Okay, nothing from your side. So ultimately what we want to do is to generate number plates in uppercase. We want to generate number plates in uppercase, meaning where are we going to begin with our number generation? On decimal value of 65 or on capital letter A. So this is going to be our starting point. So these things end at 90. From capital letter A to capital letter Z, they start from 65 and they end at 90. Now, if I can tell you, if you can count the difference between 90 and 65, we should be able to get anyone who can do mathematics by head.
26.
We are getting 26.
25, sir.
We're getting 25. Great. Now, how many alphabets are there? How many alphabets are there?
26.
26 alphabets. So now, do you see that the ASCII table's information is not far off? Huh? Pardon? Okay, nothing. So do you see that the ASCII table's information is not far off from the letters of the alphabet? So now, this means that when we want to generate a letter, we are actually going to generate a number from 1 to 26. Between 1 and 26. So what we are going to have is we are going to have random character is equals to random number between 1 and 26. You see that? This will give us any number between 0 and 26. Meaning it's going to give us actually 1 up until 25. 1 until 25. So now here's what we are saying. Since, well, the beginning of uppercase has a value of 65, then we are going to take that generated number and add 65 to it. So that number, when it is generated, for example, if we generate, let's say 3. If we generate 3, then we are saying 3 plus 65, and then where are we storing it? We are storing it inside a character data type. then is going to find the equivalent letter of that 3. Did I say 3? 3 plus 65. Okay, let's start here. Generate any number between 0 and 26, and then let's assume we get 3. Okay, and then we now say 3 plus 65, and then it becomes 68. Right? And then we are saying save this 68 of integer inside character type. And then what does it do? It goes and look for the character equivalent to 68, which is D. Which is D. Are we all getting that? We go again and say generate another number, another letter, sorry. Generate another letter. So get a random number between 0 and 26, and then we get, let's say we get 10, or let's say we get 20 this time. Let's say we get 20, and then we say 20 plus 65, 20 plus 65, and then we have 85, and then we have 85, and then this 85 attempts to get stored inside a char. But when it does that, it now says, okay, you want to store an int inside a char, and that is not possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the equivalent character of 85. And then we go to our ASCII table, we look for 85, and then it gives us a U. Does it all make sense, people?
Yes, it makes sense. But if I may ask, how, when, what did you say that why are we adding that 65 again?
Because that's where the alphabet of uppercase start. You see, it's letter A there. That's where the uppercase start. So if I say to you, generate a lowercase alphabet, what value are you going to add to your random?
It's 97.
97.
It's 97 because that's the first letter for lowercase a, 97. Ne? That's what is happening around here. Great. So you have a choice of writing it like this. Some can also write it if maybe you forget this 65 to be the value of where uppercase letters start. If you forget this 65, you can always come and just say, I want to start at A. So the compiler will know that this A is actually equivalent to 65. Ne? So if you forget the 65, you can always come and hard code your A there. So it's going to say this person is attempting to add integer and character. Then what am I going to do with this character? Okay, I will just find the equivalent integer value of this character and then add it to random and then save it in there. You now get what's happening. Okay, so now the first letter is generated. And then now we want to do what? We want to add it to our registration. So we say registration is equals to registration plus the random character. And then it means we are going to repeat this 3 times. 3 times, and then you paste there, and then you add again. Hello? You are breaking, Miss Maleko. Hello? Okay. So now, because you can see we are going to repeat this step 3 times, why not create a for loop? And then we can say for int is equals to 0, int is less than 3 because we want to loop 3 times, and then we put our code inside. This code comes inside, and then this will generate a random character 3 times while it is busy doing what? Concatenating it to our registration variable. So now if we can make a show message of reg, we should have the letters concatenated together. So let's quickly go and compile this. So you see we have MOU, we have RLY, and then DBS, ECU, and then CSV, comma separated value, and then UHT. So can you see our number plates are, the letters of our number plates are doing just fine. So if we just don't forget to just randomize there, just in case. So you can see the letters are generated. So now it's time for us to generate the digits. So to generate the digits, we are going to use the given variable there, random num is equals to random of n, which is actually up to 9. And then we get the first number, and then we want to generate this again to get the second number, generate the third time to get the third number. But now if you look at your output, there's actually a space before you can start with your digits. So what we need to do is to say, after getting the characters, we want to concatenate a space, and then we can start generating 3 digits. So since they are 3, I am also going to introduce a for loop that loops 3 times there. And then I just paste that, and then I say registration is equals to registration plus int to string random number, like that. So now if we come back and say show message, we should now be able to see the letters and the numbers there, 084 335. So can you see our generation is coming up just fine. Great. So now it's time to go to the last part where we have to concatenate a province. So this is where this guy comes in. This is where this guy comes in. So now we have a number plate. What we now have to do is to say if the person chose Mpumalanga, we must put MP. If it was Northwest, we have to put LW. If it was Limpopo, we have to put L. So we are going to create an if statement to say if prov name is equals to Limpopo. And then what do we want to do? We want to concatenate Limpopo on our registration. So let's say before we add that Limpopo, let's create a space after the numbers. So we are now saying if the province is Limpopo, then we want to just concatenate an L. But if the province was Mpumalanga, then we want to concatenate MP. Lastly, if the province was Northwest, and then we want to concatenate NW. And then finally, our registration is complete. So let's just test it out. We won't get that because we did not choose any province. So let's see. MP, we are not getting MP. Let's see why. Oh, Limpopo. Okay. Let's see Malanga. So let's see Malanga. And then we say MFL 088 MP. Then let's go to Limpopo, RRV 257L, and then we go to Northwest 0RC and then NW. Yes? Pardon?
Just blank. So we can see that you are generating the numbers, but I don't see anything on my side. I don't know about others.
You can see that I'm?
When you press the generate button, I don't see anything on the list box. It's just blank. I don't see anything.
Oh, I'm not adding them to the list box yet. Rather, I'm just displaying them here. Can you see this pop-up?
I just see the gray thingy moving.
Can you now see something? Here?
Yeah. No. Yes.
Oh, okay. And then NW, Mpumalanga. Here is MP. And then Limpopo, we have L. Is it sorted now?
So, sir,
During assessments in a like formative or summative, ne?
Yeah.
The one this function, I get it. You passed. I think it's something as a parameter inside this function. Ne? So during assessment, we as students, are we going to pass it ourselves, or are we going to find a question already past a parameter inside the certain function?
For this one, because you have to do this code using your logic, you will have to do it yourself. But for others, such as where is that guy? Such as this method here, which gets a field by number. This one, we know it's crammable, so we are going to give you this. Then you just use the method. But these ones that require you to actually answer the question, you actually have to fill in the code. But in the formative, I don't think there's I've created any question that requires a function.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Based on the function when we were creating, let's look at where you say we must concatenate, right? If like you concatenated within the button, you're going to make me wrong.
Concatenate within the button.
Yes, like in the function, I only like I declared an array of alphabets, and then I generated random numbers to compare with the array of alphabets. Then for the random 3 numbers, I used random 900 plus 100, which generates 3 numbers. Then what I did is that I did the if, but I did it within the generate button, where I was selecting that if it's Limpopo, then at the end it must add the characters.
Only this part you did it in the button.
Yes, I did it in the button.
Oh, okay, it's still okay, okay, it's still correct then, but now we are saying this is useless. Okay. Yeah, okay. Trick. But the idea here is if a function receives an argument, that argument must work somewhere. It must serve a purpose.
Okay, because of the argument, it only receives one. So I just took that argument that it receives and only calculated the letters and the numbers only, then just added when we generate.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I, as long as I could see this, then I will assume you had the logic to answer it. So maybe if you placed it in there, I might be lenient. Might, depending on. And besides, I'm not the only lecturer who's going to be marking. Ne? So you may find someone actually will penalize you for not including that in the in the function, because on the memorandum obviously we will have this inside the function. So someone may penalize you, but if it comes that I am the one who's marking, I might be lenient.
Thank you.
All right. So with that said, ladies and gents, our method that generates a number plate is complete. And then at the end, what happens? REG is then returned. Returned to who? To the calling method, which is this event here. Therefore, when we come here, this method returns REG, and then REG is here, meaning the number plate generated is here. And then what do we do with it? We save it inside our local REG number variable. Is that okay? And then the next thing now is to add the generated number plate to the list box. And to do that, we are going to say LST number plates. Number plates work with items. List box work with items. And then the items, what do we want to do with it? We want to add a string on our items. So what is the string that we want to add? Is REG number, like that. And then your question 1 is complete. So let's pick a province there. As you can see, the number plates are being added inside that box. There. Questions? So you're telling me everyone is okay with this?
No, so we're not okay. We're still digesting it.
Oh, so you will tell me when you are not okay?
Yes,
Oh, you are okay. All right. Yes.
How are you getting those provinces in the combo box?
How am I
getting those province names in the combo box?
Oh yes, in the combo box. Okay, so if you can check, on my design, I did not add them. There's nothing inside there yet. Items. So you see there are no provinces in there. So how I added them was via code, which is this part. So I said when the form gets shown, what should we do? We should add these provinces to what? To our list box. But I took the long route here. First, I did this. I created a T string list, which is just a little brother of list box. But this one, we cannot see it because it operates in the memory. And then what do I do with that? I said add Limpopo, add Mpumalanga, add Northwest. but these are where inside the memory, inside the variable list provinces, which is a T string list. And then from there, what do? I take the entire list, I assign it to items of combo box.
Okay, so I understand.
Okay, another way you could have done this, the short route, you would have said items, and then you say add, and then you put Limpopo in there. Add Limpopo, and then you repeat this again from Mpumalanga. This is the same as when we are dealing with a list box. So you come again, you say Mpumalanga. We come for the last time, we say northwest. There, and then this one will no longer serve a purpose. So there I was just taking the long route. If I think I was experimenting something there, but this works as fine. If you want to add something to a combo box via code, this is the code. Items add. Yes.
If I use add strings because of we have the T string list, would it still be fine with the long route? I use like add strings because of it's a T string, the one that you it's a T string list.
Yes, sir. So you can always come here and say combo provinces. Then you say items, and then you say add strings. So if you check the argument there, it says I am expecting a T strings. I'm expecting a T strings, and you have a list provinces there that acts like your T string, even though it's a list. So you can always come here and say list provinces once off, and then all these strings will be added to your combo box at the same time. This is actually very good. Thank you for that, sir. So we have three answers already. The other one which I deleted was combo province items is equals to list provinces. So these two are the same, they just differ in syntaxes. These two are actually the same, they just differ in syntaxes. But yes, that is the code for generating number plate and all of that. So you want this? Get statistics, what's going to happen? Oh, I think this one is actually a bit challenging. What's this? Get stats. Yeah, maybe let's do this one because I think it's a bit challenging. So let's complete the code for on click of button get stats and write code to do the following. Number one, count the number of all number plates and update the label count number plates with the counted number plates. So what we should do there is to say that count the number of all the generated number plates, and to do that we are going to say int count num plates is equals to list box of number plates, and then we want to go to items, and then we want to count the items. Count, which is a property that comes with items and a list box. So this will count the items inside list number plates, and then that value is saved where? Inside our local variable. And then we now say label count number plates, and then the caption is equal to int to string count number plate. I think it's num plates there. And then we are also supposed to count the total number of number plates that are for Limpopo and update the label count Limpopo. So let's also get into this one, which is a bit challenging. So ideally, what we will do is we will get a line or we will get a number plate from the list box, right? So we would have ANSI string number plate is equals to list box, list number plate, and then we say items. So now we want to retrieve an item. So we are saying give us the strings at index whatever. So now let's play around with index 0. Ne? So now we are going to say on index 0, we get a number plate. And then that number plate, we want to find if it's Limpopo or Mpumalanga. And which is the value that we use there? This last character or characters at the end. Okay, so it means we are going to start by substringing from here, and then we delete, we substring again up until there, we delete, and then we are left with MP. Then we can say if it's MP, then count, or if it's Limpopo, count. So it means the process is going to be that long process of ours where we say pause is equals to numplate dot pause of a space, because a space is the one that is separating the number plate. And then from there we say ANSI string province equals numplate dot substring from 1 until pause minus 1, and then finally we say numplate dot delete 1 up to pause. And then the digits, I mean the letters are out. Now we have to go to the digits part. And then we say get another position of space, get the digits, and then remove the digits. And then now we are left with the province. So we just say province is equal to number plate. And then now we have to check if province is equals to L. If province is equals to L. And then ultimately what do we want to do? We want to count the number plates of Limpopo. So it's count Limpopo equals to 0. And then we say Limpopo plus plus. So imagine all these steps you are doing on a single number plate. What about the rest? It means we have to iterate or loop through all the number plates. We have to loop through all the number plates, and as we are looping, we take the last value on that line. We check if it's Limpopo. If it's Limpopo, we count. We go to the next line, and all of that up until we are done with all the number plates. So this process is not going to be very, very short for us. That is why I have provided you with this method called get filled by number. Now, I'm not sure if you have, yes?
Yes, I wanted to ask about that method. How does it really work? Because it seems like when you separate with a tab and a space, it knows that they are separated.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure if you have seen the follow-up video which I made on session 4. I've uploaded it yesterday. I'm not sure if you have watched that. That's where I explained that method in detail. But anyway, let's come back to it. So we have an ANSI string, it meaning this method is going to return an ANSI string. So it is going to receive an ANSI string, which is a line, is going to receive the field number, which is int, and then is going to also receive the delimiter used. So what is going to happen here is, let's assume we have this number plate. let's assume we have this number plate. So when we pass this number plate to this function, the first thing that happens is this. We append the delimiter at the end of our number plate. So what we are saying there is we are actually putting a space also at the end of our number plate. I will show you why we needed to do that. And then we start with our processing. So now, in that question, we actually want the last value or the last characters. So when you have a line like that, what we actually have is letters are field number 1, these digits are field number 2, and this province part is field number 3. So it means if we want these provinces from our number plate, we are going to say give us field number 3. And then now if we receive that 3 there, then we are going to create a loop that will loop according to the number of fields that you want, or the number of times you want a particular field. So now if we want the province part, which is represented by 3, this loop is going to loop from 1 up until 3. So now it is going to start by looking for the position of the delimiter, which we will also have passed here as a space, Now it's going to look for a space inside this line, and it's going to say space is on index 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we now have 4 in there. And then it says, on our line, substring the characters beginning from 1 and take 4 characters minus 1, which equates to 3 characters. So it's going to take 1, 2, 3 and saves them where? Inside our field object or variable. And then it further goes and say, go and delete from the beginning and delete this number of delimiters. When we are done, what it does is it goes here, it goes to our line, and it removes the letters. It removes the letters. And then it checks. Remember, we passed field number 3 again. We passed field number 3. So it means this thing has to start from 1 and it has to loop until I is less or equals to 3. So I went for the first time as 1 and it did everything, and then it deleted the first part, which is the digits. And then now I gets incremented, it becomes 2. And then now we check, is 2 less or equals to 3? Yes. And then it will go again. Okay, then let's go and find the position of a delimiter, which is what? Which is the space. And then it goes to say 1, 2, 3, 4. It gets the space. And then we are now saying, okay, substring from the beginning and then take those 4 characters minus 1. Therefore, it takes these numbers and stores them inside the field. And then it further goes to delete those numbers and the space. So this part is then deleted again. And then we come to our I incrementation. And then I becomes what? It becomes 3. And then a conditional check. Is 3 less than or equals to 3? Yes, it is equals to. And then that becomes true. Then we go for the last time. And then it goes to our line. Go and find the space. But now, if we did not do this part, it will not be able to find the space here. Remember, this part is to do what? Is to append the delimiter at the end of our string. If we skip this part, here's what's going to happen. It's going to come here to say, find the delimiter of a space, and then it goes to our line, and then it checks, is this a space? No. Is this a space? No. Then there's no longer a space. And then what does it return? It returns a -1. because it could not find the space. Therefore, we cannot go and say subtract from the beginning and give us -1 number of characters. So there's no way we can get -2 number of characters. That's why it is important for the appending to take place initially. Once the space is added at the end there, let me write, I'll just type this. This will represent a space. Ne? So if this is added at the end, now when we come for the third time and loop to say, get us the position of the space, it's able to come and say 1, 2, 3 and finds the space there. Then it's able to go and substring and take 3 minus 1, meaning 2 or 1 character. Then it gets the MP. Then we further remove it from the line. I becomes 4, and then it checks. Is 4 less than or equals to 3? No. And then what is currently inside field? The MP. And then it gets returned to us. Did that make sense?
Yes, it did, sir.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So now it means if we want to be checking individual number plates, we cannot be going and writing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up until we are at the last number plate. We actually have to be smart and include a for loop that will loop from 0, and it will loop how many times? It will loop according to how many items or how many number plates are inside our list box. And to get that, we have a variable which we did initially there, which is count number plates. Okay. Then we are just going to say count num plates times, like that. And then when we get in here, the first thing that we need to do is to get a number plate from the list box. That is the first thing that we need to do. So we paste that in here, and then we replace our 0 with I. So it's going to get the first number plate depending on what the value of I is. And then with that number plate, now we want to get the province from that number plate. So let me quickly just add ANSI string prov there. And then we want to get this province from the ANSI string. So to do that, we need to make use of our get filled by number. So we are going to call our method get filled by number, and then we need to start giving it some arguments. So the first argument that it needs to receive is an ANSI string of line, a line that will be containing information. And in our case, we have number plate because it has the digits, it has the letters, the digits, and the province prefix. And then we now paste num plate there, which is the whole number plate. And then the second parameter or the second argument is field number. Which field from that number plate do you want? Which field from that number plate do you want? And then we tell it we want the field concerned with the province, which is field number 3. And then we go and say field number 3. And then the last argument says, what is the character or the delimiter used to separate the fields inside your number plate? And then we say these things are separated by a space. Therefore, we pass a space there. And then we further now say if our province equals L, then we want to start counting. Then that's where we need to start counting. So let's introduce a variable count limp equals to 0. Then when our province is Limpopo, then we just count the values of Limpopo. Count until it reaches the last number plate, and then we will have counted. And then now it's time for us to update our label. So we are going to say label count Limpopo caption equals count limb, and then this is integer. Let us quickly just convert it to a string. So now let's go and see the results. Great. So now let's press get statistics. It says the total number of number plates generated are 11. So let's see if this is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is correct. And then it further says the total number of Limpopo number plates are 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that means our code is doing exactly what they expect us to do. Questions? Okay, so guys, I suggest please you go and sit down and you carefully follow or try to make sense of this method get filled by number, because this is the method or this is the function that we are going to make use of 80% of the time. 80% of the time this method will be used. So please familiarize yourself with it. Try it on your own and check the results. Ne? Please, 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 please. And then the remaining stuff, I think, delete all. I think you can do that. Delete selected, I think you can do that. And then sort, I think you can also do that. And then but double click, you can also do that very quickly. So yes, these two were actually the challenging parts of this tutorial. So please, 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 please go and sit down, take a look at this method, try to make sense of it until you understand it. Ne? Is that fine with everyone? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Any questions, guys? Anything, 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 anything. Okay, so I'm guessing you're all sorted with that. So I will stop the recording.